It was that day when I thought nothing could surprise me anymore. But I was wrong. I woke up before dawn, around 4:30. The sky outside my small wooden cabin was still dark blue with a hint of morning gray. The smell of pine resin filled my lungs each time I breathed in. I sat there on the old bench outside, sipping bitter coffee from my metal cup. Steam curled up into the cold air. My hands were trembling slightly, but I told myself it was just the chill. I was here to clear my mind, to get away from everything that had been eating me alive these past months. Work stress, losing my best friend in a car crash, questioning what I was even doing with my life. But that morning, nothing else mattered. Suddenly, I heard a scream. It wasn't human, but it wasn't an ordinary animal cry either. High-pitched, broken, trembling with fear. For a moment, I froze. I listened. The forest was quiet again. Then the scream echoed once more, tearing right into my chest. I stood up so fast my coffee spilled onto the dirt. I grabbed my walking stick from beside the door and started running. The wet grass soaked through my old boots as I sprinted down the narrow trail behind the cabin. Branches slapped my face, dew fell like cold rain on my neck, but I didn't care. My heart was racing. I had no idea what I was about to find. Then I saw it. A small clearing opened up between two massive spruce trees. There, pressed against a thorn bush, was a bear cub. Its fur was soaked and muddy, sticking to its tiny body. Its head swung around wildly, searching for an escape. But there was none, because on the other side of the clearing, I saw 4 wolves. They stood still, their bodies tense, their ears pricked forward, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. The biggest wolf stepped forward, silent, confident, its tail held low but steady. I could hear it growl deep in its throat. I froze. My legs felt rooted to the spot. My brain screamed, "Don't move, don't make a sound." But then the cub screamed again. A desperate, heart-wrenching cry. And that's when I saw its back leg, torn open, bleeding. The wolves must have already bitten it once. I don't remember deciding to act. I just did. "Hey, get away from it." My voice broke the silence like a gunshot. The wolves turned their heads towards me. For a second, no one moved. The big wolf snarled, showing yellow teeth. I gripped my stick tighter. My palms were sweaty. My breathing came in short gasps. Part of me was certain I was about to die, but I couldn't just stand there. "Go!" I screamed again, waving my stick over my head. They didn't budge. The leader took a step forward. My mouth went dry. I reached down, grabbed a rock the size of my fist, and threw it as hard as I could. It hit the wolf's shoulder. The animal growled louder, baring its teeth at me, hackles raised. I felt panic rising in my chest, squeezing my throat. I remembered the whistle tied to my backpack. My hands fumbled to unclip it. The wolves began to fan out, trying to surround the cub from both sides. I blew the whistle as hard as I could. A shrill screech pierced the forest. Birds exploded from nearby trees. The wolves flinched, ears flattening for a second. I kept blowing, stepping forward, yelling, slamming my stick against a tree trunk. The noise echoed like thunder through the silent woods. Finally, the wolves began backing away. Slowly, reluctantly, their eyes still locked onto the cub. The biggest one was the last to leave, backing into the mist with his teeth bared and tail flicking side to side. Then they were gone. I stood there shaking. My knees felt like water. I could hear my heart pounding in my ears. It's okay, I whispered, more to myself than to the cub. When I looked down, I saw it staring back at me with huge black eyes. Its chest was heaving with rapid, shallow breaths. Blood dripped from its wounded leg onto the muddy grass. I took a cautious step forward. It tried to crawl away but fell sideways, crying softly. "Hey, Shu, I'm not gonna hurt you," I murmured. I knelt beside it. My jeans soaked instantly from the wet ground. Carefully, I reached out and touched its side. Its fur was cold, matted with dirt and blood. I could feel its tiny ribs expand and contract with each ragged breath. "God, what do I do with you?" I looked around, half expecting the wolves to come charging back. I needed to move. Now, slowly, I took off my thick flannel jacket and wrapped it around the cub. It didn't fight. Its eyes closed as I lifted it into my arms. It weighed almost nothing. I could feel its small heart hammering against my chest. As I carried it back through the trees, my mind was racing. I remembered there was a wildlife rescue center about 3 hours away. I just had to get back to my truck. When I reached my cabin, I kicked the door open with my boot. Inside was dim and smelled like old wood smoke. I laid the cub down on a wool blanket by the cold stone fireplace. It whimpered weakly, curling into a ball. I poured warm water into a metal bowl, but it didn't move. I called the wildlife rescue immediately. My voice was shaking as I told the woman on the line what happened. "Keep it warm. Don't feed it," she said. "We're sending a team." 2 hours. I hung up and sat beside the cub. The room was silent except for its ragged breathing. My hands hovered over its body, afraid to touch and hurt it more. I took a damp cloth and gently cleaned the blood off its leg. The wound was deep but not gushing. It needed stitches. I kept whispering to it, telling it stories about my old dog Max, about how he used to chase squirrels all day and come home covered in burrs. I don't know why I did that. Maybe to calm myself down. Maybe to keep it awake. At one point, the cub reached out its tiny paw and rested it on my wrist. My throat tightened so hard I couldn't breathe for a moment. Tears welled up and spilled down my cheeks. I didn't wipe them away. 2 hours later, I heard the rescue team's truck crunch up the dirt road. A man and woman walked in carrying crates and medical packs. They checked the cub quickly, speaking in low voices to each other. "He's lucky you found him when you did," the woman said to me. They placed him gently into a padded crate and covered him with soft blankets. I leaned down and whispered, "Be strong, little one. You're going to be okay." They thanked me and carried him out. I stood in the doorway, watching their truck disappear down the road, dust rising behind them in the golden sunrise. I was alone again. The forest was waking up around me. Birds sang in the trees. The scent of pine and damp earth filled my chest. For the first time in months, I felt a flicker of something inside me. Not peace, not happiness, but hope. That morning changed everything for me.